Welcome back to Yeah the Girls. How are we feeling, ladies? We're in a new space today, and a little insight to those who are on the camera watching. This is where we are for the final address before we sort of run out for the game, which is so cool as well. So
and also our defenders meeting room sometimes.
Yes,
so
love it.
It's always cold in here though. You guys a bit chilly? Or?
Yes,
it is
got the
always
jumpers
cold
on.
in here, but it always keeps us awake because I find when we're in the auditorium and we have a longer meeting,
yes.
those chairs are so comfortable. I just start sinking.
Yeah,
I
sink
know.
into
So
them.
thank goodness we got somewhere on game day that actually keeps us up and at 'em.
So good, isn't it? Sweet and sour moments of the week, ladies. I'll start us off. I'll go with my sour. I feel like it's always the best way to start off negative and go into the positive. Now, Geelong has been so windy this week.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm top of Mount Everest, to be honest. But anyways, we've had our bins collected this Tuesday night anyways, and across the street, all our bins had been pushed over by the wind.
Oh no.
And all in our front yard was just
Oh no.
rubbish, like
Yuck.
scraps and disgustingness of the bins, which wasn't our bin. But anyways, the neighbour's bin has gone over our yard and everywhere.
Oh, just
Oh.
messed it
So
up. Yeah. Okay.
I've had to do the old knock on the door and be like, excuse me, can you come help me pick up your rubbish? I was like, I'm not doing
not
this.
pick that up. That's foul. No.
Anyways, that was my negative sour of the week. But the sweet of the week is last Saturday. I'm just going to make the whole
Are you stealing my? Are you stealing my sweet?
I'm just taking the whole Saturday because last Saturday was so sweet.
Wasn't it?
We can all talk to it, but training, beautiful day. We sort of had like a light fun set, which was really nice. Had the hurling, I think that's how you say
Yep,
it
the
out.
Gaelic
Gaelic
Oh, the
hurling.
Irish, hurling.
Well, for the girls it's camogie and for the guys it's hurling.
Oh, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
I learnt that.
And
cool.
the Gaelic footballs, is that
Yes,
what you
the
call them?
Gaelic footballs.
And Colin, which is Kate's brother, who we talked about last week, he was trying to teach me how to kick it. So I loved that. And then, do you want to sort of talk about what we
Yeah, can
did
we
after?
just, I'm going to jump
can
in.
share-
We're
we can
sharing
share
our
our
sweet.
Sharing your sweet.
And then afterwards we headed to Meg's place and she put on just, we love it, just a chicken salad roll. But we were out the back of hers on the grass. There were chairs set up, sun shining, just having some salad rolls and chatting amongst ourselves. I loved, having that moment where Becky really, I guess, put on your leadership cap and in a really natural, organic way, I will say, and just sort of said, we do have round one coming up, which we'll get to. So have a think over this week how you connect best with those around you. Obviously, there's all of us as a whole group, a whole team, but then you do have, say, 4 or 5 direct players who will be in your vicinity, whether it's your back line or inside mids with the outside wingers, the wingers with both the mids and the, there's different groups, but they're going to be within your space across the ground. What can they do for you to bring out your best? And then conversations started to flow from there. But just that moment of sitting, looking around I just saw smiles. I just couldn't stop seeing smiles all day.
It was like a summer's day. Like I felt we took our long sleeves off. It was so hot. And then we walked over to the football and the boys just absolutely annihilated West Coast ahead of their finals next week. So very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Sweet Saturday
Yeah, it
last
was a
week.
great Saturday.
What about you, Dal? What's your sweet and sour moments of the week?
Well, since you guys took my sweet.
So we were all on the same page.
Pretty
with the
much, but
sweet.
I'll go with my Sunday, which was my birthday. But
Birthday girl.
But every year, and this started back when Olivia Fuller was playing here, we would, me and her would go get an almond croissant, and we'd allow ourselves twice a year, once on my birthday, once on her birthday, this almond croissant as a treat.
That's really cute.
So on Sunday, unfortunately, Liv's away at the moment with work. So I went with my boyfriend Tom, and he took me to get my almond croissant. And so that was my sweet, keeping the tradition going.
Fuller still got her almond croissant
did
where
see
she
that,
was.
And then she sent me a pic of where she
That
was
was
with
very
her almond
sweet.
croissant. So I'll be doing that in October for hers as well.
Oh, very sweet.
But do you want me to roll into my sour then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, Dal.
So my sour is actually quite funny now, but wasn't at the time. The other week I was in the shower on my own, and when you're in the shower, everything sounds a bit more intense. You feel like someone's someone's breaking in your house or
Oh,
something when you hear a
stop.
noise.
It's like when you
Yeah.
wash your face and you're like, there's
Yeah,
demons,
there's
there's demons.
literally. So I was in the shower and I hear this like banging on my front door, and so I turn the shower off in case I was just hearing things, and then I hear this banging again, and I'm like, holy moly, better go check what that is. So I'm drenched. I quickly put on a bathrobe and I'm dripping out on the floorboards everywhere. And we've got a little peephole in our front door, and I look out the front door, and there is a guy banging on my door with a chainsaw in his hand. And
Goodness
stop.
me.
and I'm sitting here thinking, like, is this Chainsaw Massacre?
Jason
Am I
Voorhees.
done here? Am I actually done? So he's banging at it again. Anyway, I get down on my hands and knees and like crawl over to our window to like check what the hell is this person here for. Anyway, he finally goes away after like several banging on the doors, and it turns out it was a guy from Jim's Mowing asking me to move my car because they were trying to cut down the neighbour's tree. But here I was thinking I was about to die. So
Oh my God.
that was
I
my
love
sour,
that.
but
I reckon
I
we've
love the
got
crawl in the
fairly,
towel.
fairly similar.
to a degree, fairly similar.
Yeah, because you had a bit of a
Yeah,
mishap,
yeah.
didn't you?
Tell us.
Incident next door. It was
What's your sour, babe?
my sour was, it was like 20 past 10 well, actually, it probably would have first started just about roughly around 10 o'clock at night. And I hear Abby go, gee. I was like, yeah. She goes, I think there's people next door. But like we've got a block of land, like just empty block of land next door. And so we're both up on like up on her bed looking out the window over the fence. And there's like these 3 people in the block next door. And we're like, this is bizarre. She goes, I thought we were going to get broken into. Anyway, next minute they've got like shovels and that, and we're going, oh, this is strange.
God.
Then they pull out a lawnmower
Oh no!
and they start mowing
my
the
God, at
lawn
10
of
p.m.
the block at
10 p.m.
Yeah, 10:20 p.m. and we're just staring out the window. Abby's in her underwear and her bra,
God.
and I'm like, they can see us, we can see them. And they're just mowing the lawns next door. Anyway, Abby ended up going outside because, as she said, she's from Sunbury, so she can take on anything. It ended up being the neighbours who will be building there. They were told to clean their block, but at
Isn't there
10:30
rules?
p.m.
That
at
is
night, I
crazy.
thought, I'm
Surely
not
there's noise
sure.
rules on that.
Oh, there is. There
Yeah.
is. She goes, oh, I'm so sorry, we won't do it anymore. I'm like, thank you. So that
Oh
was
my
definitely my
gosh.
sour.
Well, we're very similar, aren't we?
Yes, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Very rogue.
Becky?
No, I just had my windy bins. So
Oh, true. You did have your windy bins.
no, but we've got an exciting weekend ahead. It is currently Thursday. We've had to sort of push back our day of recording, so even better. We've had team selection, which is super exciting, and we're heading into Saturday night under lights here at GMHBA against Melbourne, and we've just finished training. All that's left to do is play a game.
Oh,
How
I know.
exciting!
So exciting.
Woo!
So finally, long
Finally
time coming.
here. How are we feeling? Any sort of prep leading into round 1 this week, girls? What are we all doing? I've seen a few fresh hair going about.
It's definitely
fresh
not mine.
lashes.
I'm due
Fresh
for, do
lashes
you know what
and
I'm due for? A
brows.
fresh tan. That's what I'm due
Yeah,
for.
yes,
That'll be
that's
happening
tonight's
tonight.
I think it's an everything shower, if everyone
Yes.
knows. So a hair wash, a shave, a tan,
Yep.
it all. So
Yep,
it
gotta
will
do
be
it all tonight.
It'll be a 45 minutes in the bathroom. Sorry, everyone.
Mine's probably longer than that. So
I do enjoy then getting back into the rhythm though of, pre-game day getting a massage, or, obviously we
the
come in
best.
and do your water and that sort of prep, maybe have a kick, and then having my chicken pesto pasta. I've got a new recipe that
Ooh,
I'm
God,
making for this
send it
season.
through.
So that's my pre-game meal, and
Yep.
then rolling into, it's just, you get back into that rhythm and I
Yeah.
go,
Best.
we're in season now.
yeah.
Isn't it the
Into
best?
routine.
I don't know about you, probably you, actually both of you girls are big walkers. I love game day walks.
Oh,
Something
absolutely.
about it, especially like in an evening, like we've got,
Mhm.
I think we got to arrive here around 5 p.m. So to fit a whole day in before that, thinking about a game that you've got to play, I love going for my morning walk, go get my coffee and thinking about the game, but getting that little bit exciting, but not too much. Maybe call my dad on the way, just sort of
Yep.
debrief with him about starting positions and what to expect. And there's Nina, who's excited for round 1
She's
too.
very excited.
I wish you girls could see, and boys. But no, I love my game day walks, and I have a feeling we might have a collab on the walk in the morning, Claudia
Yeah,
and
I
G,
reckon
potentially
we
Saturday
might-
morning.
A late morning walk. I wouldn't mind that
Yeah,
at all,
absolutely.
actually.
That would be
Good.
lovely.
Yeah.
But we have, as you've said, Becky, we have had the team come out, which is always both an exciting, but it can be a hard time as well.
Yeah.
And what I think is done really well here is as a group, we really get around already. Some of those, post-selection chats are already happening, being able to support those whose time will come, and maybe it hasn't come today, but we do have the exciting news of Kate Kenny
So
debuting.
exciting.
So good for her, and even to have her on the podcast and sort of get a glimpse into her life and how it's sort of been for her across the preseason. It's super exciting to see her pull on. Well, it will be. It's super exciting to see her pull on the hoops for the proper first time on Saturday, which is so sweet.
And I think there's something so exciting about having some raw talent come in game one and debuting round one as well. And just, you're not thinking about things you've done before in the past for previous games because it's your first game. So I think that's pretty exciting for us to all have as well.
And I saw a really sweet little moment just before we actually rolled into the meeting room, because we found out about Kenny, what day is it? Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday night at training. Yeah.
But just before we rolled into the meeting room, Mark O'Connor popped past, and as he was walking by, he's like, "Hey, girls," and then he came back past and said, "Oh, by the way, congratulations." And
Very sweet.
because I found out the Irish have had a couple now with the men's players of lunch or a coffee or something where they all catch up, which I think is so nice for them to feel, that piece of home away from home. But it was just a really sweet interaction and moment. The smile on her face just said it all.
So great.
So sweet. And we've also got some exciting milestones this weekend. We've got 3 players playing their 50th game on round 1, which is just amazing. Our gorgeous little Spuddy girl.
Spud, she's playing her 50 games. So obviously not all at Geelong. She has also been at Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns. But I think she feels right at home here at the Cats, and we are very stoked to have her. I think every morning I roll into that physio room and she's there already yapping away, which it actually settles me into training, and I actually really enjoy having those debriefs with Spud. But I think her talk, off the field also is impacted on the field as well, and she's such a dynamic player to have in that forward line. Her speed, her tenacity, and the way that she can finish as well is awesome. So really exciting for her to hit that 50-game milestone, and I'm keen to see what she can bring this weekend.
Absolutely. And then she's got her little pocket rocket bestie alongside her, Bowie, who is also playing her 50th. Obviously, listeners would know Bowie's come across from West Coast Eagles and instantly had a massive impact. We had a couple of players today who did speak within the meeting room. Becky yourself, Dubs spoke on Bowie, Meg spoke on Spud. But I thought when Dubs highlighted the fact that pretty much from the first season here, she basically rolled in the next year, and being in our leadership group, she's been a recipient of the Hoops Award, which is voted by all players and staff for pretty much being a Geelong person and all those attributes that come with it. She's deeply felt and really epitomises what it is to be a Geelong person, let alone, again, her tenacity, her combative nature, competitiveness on field. You can't get away from her. She's so quick. She latches onto you. I say it's like a koala.
One of the best tacklers I've ever come across.
If you manage to, I remember one training, I managed to get one bit of space from her, but if you don't get rid of the ball, you don't get a second chance. You are getting absolutely slammed. So unbelievable for Bowie. She also hasn't had an easy road. I know even last season there were some challenges, and we really debriefed a lot about whether it is being a wing player or we slightly get some movement there. But the way that she has approached it all, and therefore now the ability to relate to others who potentially go through the same scenarios, is just one of her greatest strengths.
And she would definitely have to be my player to watch this year. I just am so excited to see what she's going to bring.
You can't miss her with the 4 braids, the colourful
boots. Yep.
And the position is made for her.
It is,
that
isn't
position
it?
is absolutely
She's so powerful. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So excited. And then, of course, our Amy McDonald playing her 50th game as well. She's obviously been one of the most iconic Geelong W players, I would have to say. Successful. 3 BNFs here, an All-Australian, runner-up in the league best and fairest last year. She's done it all, and to start off this season, had 2 surgeries on her knee, come into the leadership group, absolutely put her head down and her bum up for pre-season, and just has set that another tone, another level. it's a credit to her, and we're super excited to see her run out again and play like a normal self she does on the weekend. So it's super exciting.
Is that Dan? Is he trying to jump in early?
Yeah.
Not your time yet.
No, super exciting to have those three represent the Hoops for their 50th games, which is amazing. But anyways, we're all pumped. We're excited for round one, and I think someone else who's super excited for round one is our head coach, Dan Lowther, which we will have on, and we'll test the waters with him and his coaching and what he's excited about for round one. So stay tuned and we'll talk to him soon.
Alrighty, we are back and we are joined by our special guest, Dan, who hasn't been on the pod for about
2 years, I reckon.
Oh, you know.
And counting.
I was trying to
Obviously
think
not a
about
sore spot. By
I'm over it.
how quickly you've reacted there.
Has he 10?
What did you say?
I said, has he 10?
Oh,
I'm asking 10 through the
That's what we talk
microphone.
about. When will it be this week?
but it's great to have you back on, and obviously we hear from you all the time, but for our listeners to hear a bit more and maybe in a less formal setting as well, which is what we love about you, is your banter and the way you so naturally relate to all of us. So I think it's always nice for them to hear in your natural habitat in that space. But how do you feel in lead up to round one this weekend?
Just like you, I'm sure. Very excited, anxious, nervous, pumped, all the emotions that are going through everyone's body at the moment. I'm feeling the same way. Like, it's such a long time, isn't it, between finishing and then training and off-season and pre-season and, you know, managing that time as well. So, and here we are. And then you get to the end or the start and you're like, have we done enough?
Yeah.
We've had like 9 months to do all that work. It's like, can we do some more? But I think we're best prepared to go into this week as we are right now. But all those emotions, I'm sure I'll try and find some quiet time over the next couple of days and realign for Saturday. Yeah.
Love it. Speaking of the off season, I was talking to the girls before about like how long it is, and as a player you're sort of like, okay, it sort of gets to January, February and you're like, all right, I'll start intensifying the running and the gym. What does the head coach do in the off season? I'm sure you can only watch so much vision, and you're not coaching us girls in that time. So what are you doing yourself?
It's a good question. I get this question asked a fair bit actually. There is a lot to do. There is more to do than maybe people can consider. So when you guys are away, we have a bit of a break as well. So January is pretty quiet. In comes February, but we've just come off the back of a draft. So as soon as the season finishes, there's a draft pretty much 10 days after it. So there's a lot of work during the season and then straight after the grand final to prep for the draft. So January is like, right, a breather here. But then there's the new players coming in who you have drafted to make sure that they're all settled, they understand what they're doing, what their next steps are for their relocation, if that's the case. So all of that takes time as well. And between, Benny Waller, Brett, myself, M. Shears, like there's a bit to kind of coordinate. And then there's the necessary trips to Ireland to make sure we're recruiting the right way.
Surely you make a few cheeky stops on the way, though.
Well, that's right. Like
Few markets.
True. Like there's a long drive between towns. So, the last 2 years that's kind of been a bit of a break for me, but also to endeavour on some PD, go and learn some other things off different sports, soccer, Gaelic football, to use the time overseas as a bit of a break, but also a chance to keep upgrading your own pedagogy around performance. So there's that element. And then there's the time now that you guys are around a lot more. So as you said, is it January, February, starting a little bit itchy? It's like, what can I do? You guys do a great job to lead your own kind of little groups and programs around football or high performance conditioning. But being around present and making sure there's some things in place for you guys to fall back on, so that you're not kind of just bouncing off the walls and saying, will this do? It's like, actually, these things are probably the first starting points to look at. So the planning around that and the organisation around that takes time and effort too. So, and then you've got the players who want to come in, just have a footy session or a vision session or whatever. And all of a sudden it's like 5 o'clock and that's the day. It's like, and tomorrow I've got 4 more players, and so it kind of ticks along that way. So the more we can organise that ahead of time, frees up myself to be a bit more available to individuals or small groups, because it just flies. And all of a sudden you're doing small group workout in GMHBA, which we did in February, March, and then all of a sudden we're at pre-season again. So it does go so fast. But there's a lot of, it might feel like a lot of time, but in that period it's actually quite busy.
Goes so quick too. I was going to ask as well, like how far in advance do you sort of prep, sort of block out pre-season and what it will look like and feel like? Do you sort of have a rough idea on sort of what the weeks are like, and then do you sort of play around with it depending on how it's going?
I do. So I kind of create with my education background a curriculum. So I look at lots of vision from last year,
Yeah.
and where are the parts of the game that we can actually make more ground on in terms of our performance. So it's not about, oh geez, we didn't do that quite well, or that. It's like more opportunities. So I created a bit of a database on these are the things that I want to chase as a team, individually as well, and then create a bit of a curriculum around, okay, if we were to plan a month, how might it look over a month? These are the key priorities to focus on. When and how are really important. But then off the back of the first 2 weeks, it's like, I reckon these things now are more the priorities. So having the curriculum and the ideas in place earlier, so you can focus on those at some point, but then things might supersede others at times. So, the first 2 weeks of training, you're like, this is going really well. We'll stick to the curriculum, stick to the planning and the time frame. But if we feel like, that didn't quite work, or we noticed something else in real time, let's focus on this for now. We'll come back to the curriculum later.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Oh, very good. So you're coming into your 4th season of coaching now, and a big part of your job is looking back and reflecting on how the players are going and improving their game. But have you looked back at your own growth as a coach, and how do you look at things differently as each season rolls around?
That's a great question. I think more the last, say, 12 months, I've started to take a step back and look at the way I'm going personally. I think the enjoyment and energy, the first maybe season 6, season 7 was all about lots of rapid change, coaching group, myself coming in, new playing group coming through as well. So there wasn't much time to sit back and go, actually, how am I going? It was more about kind of setting up a group and a team to be ready to perform. I reckon in the last 12 months, and particularly after last season, it's like, what are we doing? Is it working? How am I portraying myself to the group? Is coaching on the bench better than coaching in the box? Talking to the players around, I had some feedback last year from Neens about, hey, listen, just calm down a bit on the bench. It's an emotional game, mate. It's an emotional game. I'm here to feel your energy, all right?
I can probably second Neens on that.
Because you just get swept up in the emotion of that was on the ball, wasn't it? Or So those conversations over the last 12 months have become far greater with the relationships you build over that period with players to make sure that you're keeping yourself in check. This is, I would say, to you guys, constantly feedback. Sometimes like, I've overstepped the line there, and vice versa for you guys. Hey, listen, pull your head in a bit. Thanks for the heads up. So it's always happening. I ask the coaching group too to make sure that you keep me in check as well emotionally, with the way I plan and communicate. All of that stuff is consistently in motion, and that's how I've worked forever in education. It's like it's a bit of a cycle around what worked last time may not work the next time, and the idea might be right, but maybe the implementation of it wasn't quite right. So always looking at ways to get better. Always, I think you girls know more than most. It's an open our program is around honesty and relationships, and it's built off the back of your input, not just mine. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, and sticking on that that theme of that growth, we often, obviously, I think it's very easy to ask the question of what's the biggest growth you've seen from our playing group from a playing perspective. But I'd love kind of your perspective on how you see our off-field as a whole group. What would you say is our biggest growth off-field as a whole unit?
For me, it's easy to pinpoint it, and it's your high performance standards now. The game's demanding more. It's faster. It's getting further with people's ability to kick the ball and run and carry, and the demands of the game around your conditioning part are growing all the time. So your off season was built on always doing something active, and your pre-season has been flat out this year in regards to your capacity to move and run and then repeat. So it's almost like to front up to the next session, you need to be doing more off-field in regards to diet, recovery, rehab, massage, whatever it needs to be so that you can front up again. That's the biggest growth point for me, is that it's a non-negotiable now. Whereas maybe in the past it was like, I should be okay because I've got work tomorrow, or I'll see everyone tomorrow night at training, or I've got 2 days before the next training session. But now it's like it pretty much feels like you're around every day doing something that's going to get you in the right frame of mind and body to perform again. So it's almost been born out of necessity as opposed to, the right thing to do is to do this. It's like, well, no, you need to do it or else you won't be able to do Wednesday session.
Yeah.
And so the resilience part around that and the growth around, well, I'm doing it now, but can I find out more reasons as to why and how it's actually helping me.
Yeah.
So you're making
absolutely.
better informed decisions as opposed to just going to the pool.
Yeah.
So that's
like
been the
why
biggest.
you're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Love
that.
it. And then Saturday, Dan, what's your pre-game? What are you doing during the day? I was saying to the girls, you've got till about maybe you might be here about 4:30. Still a big day.
Yeah, it's a
Really.
big day.
I'll be here at
Are you
5.
an early,
So
do you arrive
Yeah,
early? Obviously, you're here by the time we get here. Are you quite an early
do you guys have
arrival?
a time schedule?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a time schedule. We come in.
Or is it the same as ours?
Pretty well. We kind of use the players' time schedule as a guide. Well, our VFL, well, not our VFLW, but our non-selected scrimmage game will be on Saturday morning. So I'll head out to Deakin to watch that.
Will you get time to stop for a funk coffee? Often see you
I
down
reckon,
there.
yeah.
a couple times.
You and the rest of the family. You guys own the place.
We do. Not really.
I reckon I will actually,
Yeah.
for sure. But a bit of a coffee in the morning, head out to support the girls on Saturday morning with their performance, and then, pretty much chill off the back of that. If there's some footy on AFL men's or whatever, or if there's some AFLW on, I'll probably, I'm a lover of all of it, but I'll probably watch footy at some point. And then I always have an idea. I'll come in, use a gym, get a good sweat up. I never do.
I was going to say, every time I see you
I
come in,
might-
you look very
I
sharp.
might
So.
walk into the gym, check it out. Not today. So I'll have an intention to do that, but I probably won't. But I'll come in and just prep for, and just get around and just have a chat to people like, how you feeling? Like, you should be feeling really good. And sometimes I don't. I'll stay away if I read the cue of the person. And like, you don't need me right now. But,
Head down.
Yeah, that's
Headphones
it. Head
on.
down. But no, it's a pretty chill day.
This wasn't a planned question, but just hearing you say about even in that middle chunk of time, do you find that, do you almost have to force yourself to kind of have a break of thinking forward to the game and constantly prepping? Because obviously physically, I just am thinking if I was in your shoes, you can't go out and actually like do, you know what I mean? You can't be out there and really feel like you exert your energy in that way.
Yeah.
So as a coach, when you're sitting there throughout the day, is it easy for you to then be like, oh, I've done all the prep I've done and then I just turn up and, I'll be ready to coach then? Or do you find that it sticks on your mind a lot and there's so much more energy that goes towards you just thinking about it in your head?
I haven't slept since December.
Paddy featuring again on this podcast.
Yeah, can't help it. No, in all seriousness, I do switch off. Like, I do find I love the game, so I always find reasons to listen to SEN or your podcast. Whatever that's got some kind of football background, I'll kind of immerse myself in it. So even game day for you guys, like you might be putting yourself off and going to funk and just doing whatever you want to do to get through the game. I actually wouldn't mind watching the game, and I'll see things, if it's AFLW in particular, I'll see things going, see, that's what I was talking about. That's the stuff and I'll often use that in a bit of a conversation around, I noticed this, and it's happening a lot in the competition, we might be doing this as well, or we shouldn't do that, whatever it may be. But certainly I can use that to support what the evening might look like from a coaching perspective. But very hard to switch off when you love something so much.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And you speak about not being able to switch off before the game, but even after a game, all us girls are very eager on a Monday morning to get all our edits and our feedback and our clips. So how many times do you actually watch the game back, and how long does that take you to code?
It's a process, I'll give you that. So I'll often get home after, say this weekend, 7:30 game, give or take. We'll get home, what time? I don't know, 11?
Yeah,
11.
give or take. I'll watch the game back. Like,
Straight away.
I'll put the TV on.
I also do that.
Me too. I'm the same.
I have to watch it
Yeah,
before I go to
same.
sleep.
So
Same day.
I might not be exerting as much energy on field as you are, but certainly going through the mind is like, I remember that part. I can't quite remember this part of the game. And I'll watch it back. And then off the back of that, I'll leave it. It'll make me sleep a little bit easier, irregardless of the result. And the next morning, I tend to get up, go to funk, have a coffee, and then laptop open, monitor upstairs at home, and I'll just go through it. And just, code what I see. Generally a 4 or 5 hour experience when you go through it, when you've got, 21 players who want some kind of feedback. We're getting better as a coaching group around the type of feedback to give. Is it more groupings as opposed to individual? A bit of both is good. And then I'll have to write reports for you guys as well. Not that I have to, but it's good feedback as well. I sometimes tend to do that before I watch the game, and then I'll have to change it post the game. It's actually, I didn't see a few things behind the goals or game day that you did really well, or as an opportunity to be better. So I'll go back and change them or whatnot. But it's usually an all-day process to get it right. And then Monday rolls around and we're like, okay, let's do the review. And then all of that work, here's 3 things out of all of that. You know, so, you know, we can be a bit over the top with it. That's why it's constantly ticking over around performance, high performance. What does a week look like off the back, Becky, in terms of like, we may have planned, let's focus on these things at train, but no, from the game, these things need to be a bit of a focus individually as well. And the coaching staff do that as a whole. So the assistant coaches will do that too. And, you know, for Brucey and Elise and, you know, with family and work to go back and then have to kind of put time away to do that, like it's a big ask, and they do it really well.
No, we definitely appreciate it. We've figured it's taken a while each time, but to think that it's a whole day, you know, sometimes you probably don't think that much into it of how long it takes you to get to it all.
Very patient partners and families at home. I
can imagine.
Yeah.
They're
Anyway.
probably hearing noises upstairs. Like, what are they doing?
No,
What are you
not
doing?
at all. Maybe sometimes. But with Father's Day on Sunday as well. So night, Dad, could be a late night for us. Yeah, but all good. Yeah.
Just to finish off, really, we have Which Cat Is That coming up, but just quite general, what is your favourite thing about being the head coach of the Geelong Cats?
It's a good question. A number of things, to be fair. A number of things. I think it's just it always evolves and it's grown since I started. But it's to see, obviously, you 3 in front of me, but just the change of behaviours and influence that you have on performance, you know, whether it be the new players coming through and just like they're coming in, you know, wide-eyed and not too sure what to do, and then you kind of can push them and mould them in the right direction. And there's the experienced players like you 3 who have been here for a while now and are growing with the competition as well, and how it can influence you to see the game in a different lens or a different perspective, work on your own individual performance and have those moments where, you know, it's almost like, did you see that, coach? You know, like you and I had one during early pre-season. It's like, that's the stuff where like that gives you so much energy. And it was the same when I was teaching. It's like every day it's like this student here just had the best day ever. And you front up the next day and you're like, I hope it's the same. So that's how I kind of feel with the group. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that.
Love it.
But I can be a little bit over the top sometimes, and I need to make sure I'm performing.
Well, Dan, you seem to know a fair bit about our group, obviously. So we thought we'd put that to the test, and we're back with our fan favourite "Which Cat Is That" segment.
Have you done the which? Oh no, you. Oh yeah, sorry.
I did the one on stage.
You did on stage.
Yeah, and I threw it so that you guys would win.
Fair.
All right.
Currently, the leaderboard sits that Becky is 1, G is 0, and the guests are also 0.
Right.
So we've got some work to do.
Buck the trend.
Yeah, but firstly, how the game is played is I'll run through a series of clues on a certain person that we've chosen, and you guys will have your individual buzzers, so think about what you want to do with that. And you can buzz in at any point, but once you buzzed in, you're out if you get it wrong. So think about your timing, and if you're really sure, then go for it.
Right.
But
I'm learning. Don't go too
What's
early.
your
Let's
buzzer,
just-
G?
I've seen you do
Yeah.
this before, G. You go way too early.
I
Yeah,
know.
she is
I know.
early.
It happens so often.
Do it again.
I'm sticking with the yeehaw.
that's your buzzer.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going buzz because I forget all the time.
Dan, pick a buzzer.
Oh, wow. Let's just go.
Can you just let him whip that out, even if he's
Yeah,
wrong?
Excellent.
I'll get 2
great.
chances maybe.
All right, well, let's get underway. So, question number 1. This cat has a younger brother. This cat was born in Victoria. No one wants to chime in yet?
Not yet.
This cat is going into their 4th AFLW season. He's looking very confused here.
Should I go early? Do one more question.
One more. This cat hates butter and onion.
What are we up to?
That was number 4.
Okay.
How many questions are there?
8.
I love how we're calling them
Right.
questions. These are called
Yeah,
clues.
they're clues.
Clues. They're statements. They're
Yeah.
statements.
This cat got a pet snake for her 7th birthday.
All that threw me.
Come on, you guys
Oh, you should know
Oh
this,
my
Beck.
gosh.
Oh, should I know this?
Yeah.
A snake. Ew, I hate
I've
snakes.
I've heard this,
You
and I
have
remember
heard
saying to this person, like, that's just
Meow.
bizarre.
Oh, Dan's
Someone did it.
chimed in. That was great.
That's like a dead cat.
Oh my my God, no.
All right, Dan.
I don't know.
Hit us.
Is it Zali?
No, it is not Zali.
I
Not
was
Zali.
Right.
All right, Dan is out. So down to you
I know
two.
someone who
Snake,
doesn't like
snake.
butter.
You guys should know this.
Snake.
All right, this might give it away. This cat thinks a 10 is a personality
Yeah.
trait. Oh, geez.
It's Bella.
It is Bella.
Oh
It
my
is.
God.
Good job.
Yes, it was
Damn.
Bella.
No question
Yes.
too early.
How bizarre. A snake.
Well,
I remember her being like, yeah, and they're so cute. I'm
Yes,
like,
that's
oh,
right.
slimy,
When we were at
cold.
Landy, she told
She
me
told us
too.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She actually said if she's driving along a road and she sees a snake on the ground, she would get out of the car, move it off the side
No,
to
No.
the side of the
no.
road and get back in her
I'm
car.
sorry, I would
No.
run the
I
hell
would
over
run
that.
as well.
Snakes and
Yeah.
Wait, what
spiders,
did you say?
maybe.
Oh, I said I'd run the hell over it. Sorry. I love
Conservationists
animals.
out there.
And then our other clues were this cat has 5 coffees a day.
Does she?
Yes, she
Oh,
does
yeah.
apparently. And then this cat played at a different club last year. So obviously at the Brisbane
Nice.
Lions last
Great.
year. So
Bella Smith.
well done, G. So that makes it 1-0, 0 to the guests. So
That's
we've got to
alright.
get some better guests on, guys.
You're on 2
Wow.
strikes left. I don't know if
Oh,
we'll get
yeah.
you on again.
Yeah, that's the best
Second
buzzer
time.
I've heard
I
from a guest
know.
though. So I'm pretty impressed.
So good.
Oh, thanks so much, Dan, for coming on and for giving us a bit of an insight. Even us, there was a bit there that obviously we always learn when we chat to you, but good for the listeners to get an insight.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invite. Hope to be back.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks,
See you guys.
All right. How nice was that to have Dan on? Our head coach, of course. He's a great head coach, isn't
Yeah.
he? He's great with our relationships. And it was really nice to have an insight of him and before round 1 as well, which is super exciting. As I said earlier, we're playing Melbourne Demons here at GMHBA Stadium at 7:15 p.m. Saturday night. Get down. The boys have the bye with the finals, so no excuses not to be here to cheer us on.
What else would you be doing for your Saturday night
Oh.
than watching some football?
Watching some football or eating some chin chin and watching some
Oh,
football.
Yep, and some free ice creams probably
yes,
handed out
from
at the
Bulla.
game. Bulla?
Yes, we are the number 1 team for fan engagement on match day experience. So get down. We're super excited. I feel like as a team and as a player, when the crowd's loud, when you're down supporting us, it just takes us to the next level.
Absolutely.
But most importantly, we'll see you Saturday night. Let's do it, ladies.
Let's go, girls.
See you there.
And we'll see you there. Thanks, guys.